You ever see a houseplant start to droop on a hot day? It looks so defeated. But what you're really seeing is a silent, high-stakes fight for survival. I mean, think about it. A plant can't just get up and find some water. It's stuck. So how does it fight back? Well, it turns out it has a pretty incredible secret weapon. For plants all over the world, from the crops in our fields to the trees in the forest, drought isn't just a minor inconvenience, it is a full-blown life or death emergency. It's one of the single biggest threats to agriculture, which, affects all of us. And that's the big question, right? When a plant realizes it's running out of water, it can't exactly send out an SOS. It has to rely on its own internal communication system, kind of like a biological emergency broadcast that kicks off a whole cascade of survival tactics. So what is this system? Well, it's run by hormones. Yeah, that's right. Just like people, plants have hormones. These little chemical signals that manage pretty much everything from how they grow to how they deal with stress. We call them phytohormones. Just think of phytohormones as tiny messengers zipping all around the plant's body, carrying super important instructions. One might be shouting, "Hey, grow towards the sun," while another says, "Okay, it's time to make some fruit." They're basically the conductors of the whole operation. And there's a whole team of these hormones. You've got auxins, which are all about growth. Ethylene is the famous one that helps ripen fruit. But when that emergency call is about a drought, one hormone in particular steps up to answer. And that hormone is abscisic acid, or ABA for short. This is the plant's #1 first responder for drought stress. As soon as a plant starts to dry out, its ABA levels just shoot through the roof. This stuff is the general that takes command and rolls out a brilliant difference plan. But where does it come from? Before ABA can start giving out orders, it has to be made. The plant has this incredibly sophisticated molecular assembly line that just kicks into high gear the second it senses that water is getting scarce. Okay, so I know this diagram looks a little intense, but don't worry about all the chemical names. The main thing to see here is where it all starts. Inside the chloroplasts, the plant's little solar power factories. A simple pigment in there starts this whole journey to becoming a powerful distress signal. Let's look at a simpler version of that process. All right, let's break it down. First, the plant grabs some beta-carotene, and yes, that's the same stuff that makes carrots orange, and uses it as the starting ingredient. Then, a whole series of special enzymes start cutting and changing it in a really precise order. An intermediate piece, called xanthanoxin, gets shipped out of the chloroplast into the main part of the cell. And then, boom, a couple more quick steps, and that xanthanoxin is converted into the finished, ready-to-go ABA. The alarm is officially ready to sound. Okay, so the ABA is made. Now what? What does it actually tell the plant to do? Well, it turns out the plant is genius. It's a two-part strategy. Play defense above the ground and play offense below the ground. And this lays it out perfectly. Above the ground, it's all about conservation. Batten down the hatches, stop losing the water you already have. But below ground, it's all about exploration, actively going out and searching for new water to solve the problem for good. The first defensive move is absolutely crucial. ABA zips up to the leaves and tells these tiny little pores, they're called stomata, to slam shut. Now, these pores are super important for breathing in CO2, but they also let water vapor escape. By closing them, the plant immediately and drastically cuts down on water loss. It's like plugging a leak. Now let's look at the offense down below. Again, this diagram looks complex, but the idea is really simple. ABA completely transforms the root system. It's no longer just passively waiting for rain. It becomes this dynamic, intelligent, foraging machine actively hunting for water. So how does it do all that? Well, for one, ABA can tell roots to grow longer, to push deeper into the soil where it might still be damp. It actually changes the whole shape, the architecture of the root system, so it can explore more territory. And, get this, it can even change the chemical signals the roots send out to attract helpful microbes in the soil that can assist the plant. It's a complete underground mission overhaul. So, all this molecular drama happening inside a single thirsty plant, it's fascinating for sure. But why does it matter to us? Well, because this silent battle for survival has massive implications for one of our biggest global challenges, feeding everyone. See, by figuring out this whole ABA pathway, scientists can essentially hack a plant's survival code. And what's the goal? To engineer crops that can actually thrive in a world that's getting hotter and drier. This isn't just some sci-fi idea. It's a real, critical strategy for making our food supply more secure. And hey, this is already happening. Look at this. By tweaking some of the genes related to ABA, researchers have already created tougher versions of major food crops. For rice, they've boosted its drought resistance. For maize, they've improved how efficiently it uses water and its yield, even when there's not enough rain. This is the kind of science that could make a huge difference. When you boil it all down, it comes back to this one molecule, a single, powerful chemical signal that coordinates this whole elegant, complex response to one of nature's toughest challenges. ABA is the secret weapon, and it's making sure that not just one plant, but entire ecosystems have a fighting chance. That silent, desperate fight of a thirsty plant really holds a profound lesson for us. By understanding its secret weapon, ABA, we're not just learning how to save crops, we're learning how to be more resilient ourselves. It really makes you wonder, what other incredible solutions have been quietly growing right under our feet this whole time?